Hello guys, and welcome. Here we are, day 2 of the Southeast Asian Qualifiers for TI6. I'm Gareth, LD, my man, joining me, and we've got a pretty good game for you today. Coming straight in, let's get ourselves into the draft. Team Rave against TNC.
Don't make promises you can't keep, Gareth. We don't know if it's a good game. It hasn't happened yet.
Oh, come on.
Or can you see the future?
I'm a fanboy of Southeast Asian Dota, so regardless of who's playing, where, when, why, what, it's always going to be good for me.
So regardless of if the Dota's good, you're going to say it's good anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're a liar. So you're someone the viewers cannot trust.
I am massively biased.
Okay.
Yeah. You know it.
Toby's trained you well.
I mean, Toby's only biased towards Na'Vi,
10
right?
seconds remaining.
No, now he's biased against Na'Vi. He's like Toby's had Toby has had the Lumi Cloud9 effect, where Lumi knew he was a fanboy of Cloud9, and such a fanboy that he had to like knee-jerk react against it, so he would just overflame them. He would bash them for everything.
So like Blitz and Liquids?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the reverse fanboy effect, where you try to overcompensate. Something I have no experience with, because I am totally unbiased.
Oh yeah?
No, I have a dog in this race. It is Team TNC. My boys, Demon especially, my good friend Jimmy Ho. I am rooting for him. But we'll try to keep it professional, keep it
was an
clean.
Interesting move, right? Demon going to TNC. I mean, they dropped their youngest player, Winter G's small son. They dropped Teehee. He moved on to play with some mates. And then Demon is like, oh yeah, I'm not playing in South America anymore. I'm going to go over to the Philippines and play with these lads.
He is quickly, I guess the one continent he hasn't gone to as of late is China. Hasn't been to China.
What about Antarctic Dota?
Oh. Well, you know, I read recently that there's a guy there who got a Tinder match in Antarctica.
Really?
Like, I think there were 2 people on Tinder. One woman, one man.
And they both swiped right.
And they both swiped right. I mean, you can't be choosy in Antarctica, right?
How fortunate is
Don't
that?
you just swipe? Surely you swipe right on everyone.
It's the auto right.
That's like if you're the last 2 humans in the universe on a deserted island. You might hate each other, but you know you have to do it for the sake of the
I'd prefer a
race.
penguin, honestly, to you. Just imagine that.
Yeah, it's cold there. Well, let's talk about the draft here. So, Rave, TNC, game 1 of the best of 3. Rave, Dire side, opening up with the Vengeful Spirit. See a Timbersaw Beastmaster reply. And we've seen some interesting ways to try and do a Timbersaw. I think yesterday, I'm trying to remember who it was. One of the teams in the European qualifier ran Skyrath, they ran Nyx, and they ran Riki. And Timbersaw got shit on. Like, he did absolutely nothing that game. So I think it's one thing we haven't seen teams do enough is counterpick the hero. Like, everyone's talking about how strong Timbersaw is, but some of the less conventional picks right now, to me, are still very effective. Skyrath especially just really ruined him that game.
Wait, that was the Adfinem game.
Oh, it was Adfinem. It was versus Adfinem.
Yeah, Adfinem had the Timber, and they got destroyed by that Skyrath.
It was it Empire playing them?
F5?
I think it was Empire that game.
I can't remember. There was so many games yesterday and today.
There's even more today, because now China starts, so tons of action. But yeah, looking at how the teams are sitting right now in the group, TNC is 3-1, so in a pretty good position here. As for Rave, 2-2. Still both teams could win the group. Still both teams could not even make the playoffs. So it will all be decided today. We'll have tiebreakers, perhaps. Could be a very long and exciting day, if there are.
For C, most things are kind of as expected. The one maybe upset is Execration, who have showed up, massively taking that game off Fnatic with their Meepo play. They're very good in best of ones and have always been one of those teams that pull out the funky drafts. TNC used to be like this, but they've become a lot more solid in their drafting. AU has really kind of made it his craft and his drive to be the drafter in Southeast Asia and building a team around himself.
Although, interestingly, Demon is in the drafter seat for now, so I don't know if that's...
He's the guy picking heroes. AU's like the kind of tactician. He's the mastermind,
he's
the puppeteer.
He's the hand behind the throne, then, so to speak. So draft well underway now. So TNC do go for the very strong 5-man Timbersaw Beastmaster Rave, backing up for a Darkseer here. A hero that certain teams like EG have really prioritized, others totally ignoring. Seems like a kind of a hodgepodge of whether or not teams prefer him. Phase 2, we see a Juggernaut grabbed by TNC. So looks like an off-lane Beast, mid-Timber, safe-lane Jug, just a solid disruptor support pick. Pretty well-rounded draft. They have quite a bit of kill potential in Darkseer in the off lane, so this could be a tough game there for Rave.
TNC is a team that love to run jug mid though, which is always a question you kind of have to ask when you look at this draft. Especially, you know, Rave are looking at this and thinking there are so many ways that you can run this. The 4-roll Beastmaster in the jungle, the offlane Timber is a potential, but I think I agree with you. The Juggernaut probably more likely to head towards the safe lane just to give him that guaranteed farm, and it pairs up nicely with the Disruptor. You know, you harass out, you Thunderstrike, and he's very good against Darkseer in lane.
Yeah, Jug and Timber kind of have that same quality where they're just very difficult to gank mid. Timber just tanky and mobile. Jug has magic immunity, so I think either one can go mid, and to some extent we'll have the same net effect. Rave gonna go for an Ember now, so a good Ion Shell vehicle. Or bearer, I guess is the more apt way to put it.
The lawnmower.
The lawnmower, yeah.
The Flame Guard Ion Shell just running over people.
Yeah, it can go that way, or it can just go the feed way, but they pick it into a Disruptor Beastmaster, which is quite a bit of reliable lockdown, so...
Then you've got pure damage and physical damage from Timbersaw and Jug as well. It is a bit scary, but when you've got like a saving support in the Venge, as well as counter initiation from Darkseer, you do have a bit of leeway, allowing the Ember Spirit to like farm aggressively on the map.
Yeah, and they definitely want that tempo controller, something Darkseer does not give you, and you've already picked your offlaner here, so... Rave will be looking for... most likely their safe laner. I guess possibility they could run the Ember there if they don't like the matchup. We'll see the DP ban out by TNC. Either way, they're going to run someone who wouldn't lane that well against her, so I do like that ban. And Rave lacking the ability to take objectives. That to me is the big gap in their draft. Not that good at Roshan, not that good at pushing towers, so they say screw it, we're just going to kill everyone.
Damn.
I get the Storm. We saw him once in America, and I believe that was versus Complexity. Who was it? It was one of the two bottom teams. I think they ended up losing, though.
I didn't check that out, but you know, it's scary putting Ember Spirit mid against either Timber or Juggernaut. Not going to be a favorable matchup for him. And if you want these two supports, the Venge and the Lion, to be, you know, stacking, pulling, and maybe roaming around towards the runes early on, they can offer a bit of aggression. But Storm Spirit, that mobility he gives you with the Ember and these two supports, catching heroes out is going to be super great for Rave up against TNC, and they don't have a saving support themselves, so if someone does get jumped, things could definitely look rough for them.
Yeah, I think it was versus Vulture. Or maybe, no, it was Drinking Boys, actually. Drinking Boys ran the Storm, but they did end up losing. So, Storm, 0% win rate in the qualifiers thus far. See, Phoenix last pick. TNC just, to me, this is the very well-rounded draft that does it all. They can team fight, they can scale into late game, they have magic damage, they have physical damage, they have good pick-off potential, they have BKB piercing disable. Very well-rounded. I would say slightly greedy, having Disruptor and Phoenix, where they're both very level dependent, and they don't have the best roaming in the laning stage, but that to me is like the only real downside of this draft. It seems very stable.
Yeah, they're super difficult to kill in lanes. They don't need to, you know, completely demolish their lanes to gain any advantage. It's just like sit and farm for the first 10 minutes, gain these kind of smaller items, and then it becomes that, you know, almost 5-man push into these tier 1 towers looking for that. While Rave, they need mech on Darkseer. They need Ember Spirit to get into the BOTs. You know, there's these kind of bigger gaps in terms of where you need to get to with the items, whereas TNC aren't as heavily reliant on that.
All right, did you get a last hits prediction? No. Okay.
I'm just going to close that and make sure we don't press any buttons.
It's a cool feature, but my god, is it spammy. Something maybe they'll tweak is the ability to at least hide the updates mid-game.
Popping up every 4 seconds is pretty insane.
Oh yeah, we were doing the panel together yesterday when that was happening.
Well, I had it in a game earlier yesterday as well with Lyrical, where we were like, oh, it's going to be fun. We just make our predictions and everything's going to be fine. It's so distracting when you're looking around the map and all of a sudden your right side of your screen is just spammed out by it. Already, kind of casual, regular TPs out to lanes looking for these observer wards from both teams.
Oh, Ryo. Off to a slow start here, whiffing that first stun, but he did scout this ward being dropped. Or at least he saw it leave the inventory. So he should have a rough idea of where it is, and we're going to see Dark deward it immediately. So good start there for Rave as far as the vision game goes, though they did get another Radiant Ward up near the top room.
That's such a great start for your Storm as well. Instant 100 gold. Okay, you're well on your way to your bottle as well.
Yeah, especially when you're going for the damage, the extra damage, which you do need, I'd say, especially nowadays on Storm. My god, these cosmetics.
On Jo?
I have not seen the roar hair before.
Ooh.
Then again, I haven't seen Storm in like a year.
Quite a while. Back to the Zephyr days.
Whenever I see a Storm on my team, I just instantly report him, because I know he's going to feed.
It's not that bad.
It is.
Come on now.
Average pub Storm. not the best right now.
Just gets ganked 4 times in the first 2 minutes and is like, right, I'm gonna
Some
go.
bounty hunter or spirit is just roaming on him, and he's constantly overextended and QQs. So AU missing his D ward here, top lane. So they are gonna, it looks like, do something quite unconventional with the lanes here. They're running the Beastmaster. Oh no, sorry. Okay, he's Iron Talon jungling. So they're just playing greedy. They're gonna run Phoenix off lane. Gets to Venge Ember, the Lion for the time being, roaming about, but he is gonna head towards top. So Phoenix may struggle, but then they get to just abuse the Beastmaster effect here in the woods.
Oh, the triple Iron Shell from Rappy down the bottom lane, though. Raven just like walks past the creep wave, forcing him away so he doesn't get into that level 2. That surge coming up, obviously difficult to handle for them, but Raven, no quelling play just yet, and he's going to have to tank through this a fair amount until he does get into that healing ward.
Yeah, it's quite a big deal, though, delaying that level 2 in this matchup, because they have a ton of kill potential on Darkseer. Probably one of the best, probably the best support to kill him, I would say, right now, as far as popular picks, the Disruptor.
Yeah, because you can harass him down to like half HP, and then when he tries to run away, you get the glimpse back to the spin.
Yeah, and you have good damage as well from the Thunderstrike. He is not level 2 yet. He just now skills the Surge, rather. And Rappy will run, but Demon
Another Thunderstrike.
has another Thunderstrike. That's first blood, I think. Even with the Fairy Fire, he can try to salve in between the ticks.
Oh, he's just okay.
Lane is over, though. That is not fun. He's going to salve up here. He has hit level 2. But they can just deny these creeps and pull the lane back, so he may just need to go home entirely.
Yeah, he goes back. He realizes that even with a salve, he's only got like 1 Iron Shell left in him, so TPing back to lane is going to allow him to apply that little more pressure.
AU looking for the courier snipe mid.
No longer the off-lane Phoenix, now the roaming Phoenix.
Yeah, you know, they have a core Beastmaster in the woods who will basically have Enigma level farm and over the next couple minutes, so it works out, but it effectively becomes an underleveled hero for the time being.
Do we often see boots on jungle Beastmasters? I'm used to seeing Stout Shield, Headdress, and then into like Necro books. I mean, obviously with the boots after like Headdress, but jungling efficiency, the Stout Shield and the Headdress give you a lot more.
Yeah, the boots help you move from camp to camp a bit faster and also to secure runes, but I mean, whether or not you get a boots first, you're definitely going to grab it by the time you hit level 6, just so you can go for that early gank. So I think I've seen FY go boots after Iron Talon, because the boars mostly will tank the camps for you.
That's true.
After the first like couple levels.
Maybe, oh, that's right. He's Radiant side as well. Usually it's Dire side that goes for the Headdress Stout because of the layout of the camps themselves. With these Radiant camps, you can kind of run across to the east.
That courier snipe mid lane. AU's gonna go for it.
Dive for it, he does.
Caw!
And it's gone.
Caw!
Oh, no, he doesn't. He doesn't land it.
Oh, no call.
Oh, no.
So, AU's having a rough game.
Level 1 Phoenix. You know, at this point, do you just like buy a Ring of Regen and Suicide to Ancients or something like that?
I don't know what you do at this point. The top lane is not pushing. Raver doing a really good job at chain pulling, keeping the creep equilibrium back. And by abandoning the top lane, it also makes it quite likely the supports could rotate, look for some pressure. Albeit, I'm not sure where they would go. Timber, a tough gank. Possible kill, I'd say, once the Storm hits level 6, but you can already see Cuckoo just having his way in this mid lane.
Joe's done a great job actually keeping up in CS, though.
Yeah.
Like, the kind of low range on Storm does leave him open and susceptible to the Whirling Death, but Joe's kept his distance and managed to hold the equilibrium exactly where he wants it, and now drags it to tower. Should be perfectly fine for him.
He's CSing really well. Definitely doesn't want to trade with Cuckoo, though, as we see when he goes in for it, he loses about half his health. Now the stick comes out, so...
Oh, it's the Tranquil Boots rush from Sam H, actually. That's what he heads into.
And Jo at the top rune. Little engagement breaking out here. Looks like it might be a Storm down first blood, or we'll have to see if he can turn it the other way. The Hex comes through, but over the top the Phoenix swoops, and Jo down for the kill.
Lion has to be careful here as well. That's a 2-level reactive armor on that Timber, and it's the second kill for him.
Oh, this is a triple kill.
And look where Demon is. The hasted disruptor made his way across. He's out, but doesn't complete.
Oh boy. Game was hard. And Phoenix, so much for struggling in the offlane. Now he's level 3. Gareth, this is looking great.
With Tranquil Boots out of almost nowhere. That is such a swing of fortune there for TNC. Great job bringing down that Storm as well.
Yeah, really heads up play there by Demon to rotate in, and
fortunate haste rune though, you got to say.
And a fortunate haste rune as well.
Top tower is under attack.
In the meantime, you know, Jugger left to his own devices against the Darkseer, but that's fine for him. Pulling blades up with the poor man shield, he can tank the way for days. Healing wards ready as well for Raven. And if he does get pressured too hard, you know, level 3 spin just clears the wave instantly, which allows him to shove into tier 1.
Yeah, it doesn't. One of the few carries that doesn't really, or melee carries that doesn't need much help at all against Starks here. The other big one, probably being anti-mage, but of course, then you have an anti-mage on your team. So.
We've seen Sven like do decently with Warcry, just like tanking up creep waves, but it's a little bit rough. AU gonna dodge the gank there. Rio was looking for it. He's level 3 as well.
Nighttime, so I don't think he had the vision until too late.
Tranquils and Windlace on the Phoenix.
Gotta go fast.
Max movement speed.
So I guess he's going. What is he built? Is he casual Windlace?
Yeah, we've seen a
probably.
lot of casual Windlaces coming out. It's kind of like raindrops and Windlace. A lot of players have realized how valuable they are for the gold you expend on them. A little bit of extra movement speed or a little bit of magic block and mana regen out of them. It's kind of cool seeing them go from items which no one really picked up. It was very hero specific or situation specific, but now it's just anyone and everyone is like, yep, we need raindrops.
It's like the new magic wand, I guess, where it used to be the item that literally every hero in the game would go for. Windlace pretty close to that, even as a standalone.
6 minutes in, Sam H has hit his level 6. Roar is ready, and there's the smoke, that rotation you were talking about with the Tranquil Boots up to top lane. I wonder if they'll TP someone additionally up here to try and find this fight, because between Phoenix and Beastmaster, do they have the damage to actually face up against the tri-lane?
Yeah, I'm not sure that they might be able to get one kill, but could get turned on and give up a few as well. And if Ember's able to get a Flame Guard, he will not be an easy grab. More likely they're going to look for a support here. As Sam moves into the tree line. It is nighttime, but smoke is broken. I do see Ryo.
That scan, they were looking for it, but Lion caught his pants down. It was a good idea. They were scanning in, you know, close to the perfect place, but just a little bit off.
Very fast BOTs for Ember. So this is where I think looking at Rave and the way the game has progressed, Jo not having the best time mid with the 3-hero takedown, Cuckoo off to a hot start, they're going to need Ember to make moves. The question is, where does he look to go?
And that Ember, no Aquila, no bottle or anything like that, so Ninja Boogie very focused on getting those BOTs up as fast as he probably could.
Yeah.
He's going to be looking for joining quite early as well, because, you know, Ember Spirit's one of the heroes that once he hits level 8 or 9 does have a lot of magic burst damage behind him, and he can fight early.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, there's a glimpse back. They found Rappy, and Omni Slash going to work on him. They're going to spin now and secure another kill. TNC pitching a shutout, making it look easy here. Already up nearly 3,000 gold. 3K experience. It's smooth going in the early moments. I think Ember needs to be moving. The supports are not going to have a key level or item for a while. Lion not farming particularly well. He's level 4, but nowhere near the finger. If they don't move the Ember, I foresee every time Beastmaster is Roar, TNC are just going to get a kill.
Laning phase has been very static from Rave so far. They've not been playing aggressively with the two supports. You know, Venge and Lion, they've got these stuns and disables, but like we said during the draft, both Juggernaut and Timbersaw are incredibly difficult to actually lock down and kill. That safe lane and mid lane aren't really places they can go to. And then AU, the Phoenix on top lane, wasn't even there as a target.
Yeah, Jo doing the storm thing, just heading to the jungle right now. He TP'd back to the tier 2, and then he decides to head towards mid instead. They might make a go on Cuckoo with the Lion, but I don't know if they can even kill Timber. I think they need Finger to do it, to be honest.
Hey, he's got 1,000 HP. It's not easy at all. What's the Juggernaut building into right now? He's got phase. I was going straight into the Battle Fury.
Ooh.
Phase Aquila Battle Fury. I guess if you've got two relatively item-dependent cores over on Rave, you do need some leeway just in case you know a fight goes wrong.
Found Rappy again, bottom lane.
Standing his ground, making sure it doesn't get glimpsed back.
Where do I go? What do I do?
You're going to get Juggernaut hit. Oh, Storms it to the back though, looks for the Phoenix. His Ember Spirit's joined in as well. Now Raven and Demon running back into the trees. This is a place where Raven
Oh, Jimmy's one creep from level 6. That's so unfortunate.
Was he trapped them? No, the final swipe. So look who's coming from the side. It's Cuckoo. Dash from across. Walking forward with Raven with a spin again. They've got Derp, but the calls from Rave. TP out one by one, except Ninja Boogie can't.
He has a remnant. Should be okay. Still end up giving up 2 kills, and their entire team rotates. So I think that's overall good for Rave. Effectively a relatively even trade, but also remember that's with Omni/Slash not being available, Beastmaster not getting to use Roar in that fight, and now Phoenix level 6. Also Disruptor 1 creep away from it here, so next fight is going to be a whole lot trickier for Rave, and they have also made that first BOT rotation, so not likely the Ember surprises them with it again.
A hit shoot on Timber and Necro nearly done for Sam H as well. It's all coming up roses here for TNC as their items.
I really don't see them defending this. This is going to have to be absolutely perfect initiation.
Shot comes out and the chains.
That is not the hero you want to start the fight on.
No.
Abandoned ship, Rave. They're going to try for it, though. I really want this, Gareth. I think it's a mistake to try and take a fight.
Now the Phoenix has arrived as well. It's Supernova. There's so many places on this bottom lane to actually land it down. So.
Ryo's not even there. He has a TP. Rave are just going to give this up, it looks like.
Who did Rave even have to click the egg down? Just a Storm. There's no way support's getting range to clear it through.
Yeah, Storm's not bad in theory, but if you're running into hit the egg, that means you're also running into the Disruptor, speaking of which.
Rappy and the Storm, another kill in the Dark Sphere, no mech in sight for him as the support TPM. That's the Hex back onto Sam H and the chain stuns down. First Supernova coming through into the back end, and it's a 1-1 so far, but there's no way they can clear through with the final Omni/Slash swiping down another. And that Timbersaw ripping through JO. He sticks up, he's got another jump with the Ball Lightning down onto the low ground and will escape. A 3 for 3 as Rave get a decent trade out there.
That was pretty good overall. They keep it's both cores living for each team. Definitely a big win for Rave. Though as I say that, if JO goes down, wouldn't be so much the case. But Cuckoo, a bit low on mana, has the Mango, could try for it, but heroes are respawning too quickly, so ended up working out quite well there. Beastmaster did not get off his Roar. It was trying to kind of, I think, tank for the Juggernaut so they wouldn't go on Raven. And, well, you mentioned Battle Fury, but he opts to go for a Vanguard, so wants to live through the burst damage. We've seen Vanguard into Battle Fury for a lot of the anti-mage and Juggernaut players, but obviously it means you need to be getting a lot more done at this stage, as your farm progression will be quite a bit slower.
For sure. I mean, up down on that bottom lane, the chain stuns were pretty good from Rave. You know, they had a Hex and a stun on the Beastmaster, making sure he couldn't get that Roar. If you don't get the positioning right from these supports, you're not going to get that opportunity.
Demon wants to get a ward out here. Could set up for a big glimpse.
Smoke is popped. Oh, Derp, no! The Vengeful Spirit walked into 3.
Probably feeling a bit derpy after that. Poor guy.
Nice little ward down, indicative of them wanting to take the tier 1 mid. Just making sure no TP reactions, no one hiding back behind the trees. And we'll secure the tower. So Rave, you know, they realise this. They've got the split farm capability of the Ember. Push into tier 1 while the rest of them trying to make the most out of the other lanes. Up on top, Raven is actually lurking in the back end and not going Battle Fury. Picks himself up late Alacrity. Could be Diffusal Blade, but probably the Yasha.
Diffusal is really good against the Darkseer.
And against Ember Spirit. Purge off the Flame Guard.
Yeah. I would probably prefer the Diffusal Blade.
Yeah, thinking about it now, I'd buy the same.
We'll see what the choice is.
I mean, often it's like Yasha into Diffusal Blade as well. Yasha is such a great cost-effective item, especially on a Juggernaut.
Yeah, so he's going to get Yasha first, but I think it is one of those games where you can justify a really early Diffusal quite easily. Could also be a Manta if he's worried about the Orchid from JO, so lots of options available here.
JO skipped treads and is rushing directly into the Orchid. Living Staff 1 is up, he's got almost enough money for the second one as well.
That's how you make Phoenix squeal. AU is not going to have Yules or any real solution for silence for a long time.
This is one of the problems with Storm, though. You know, we used to see him a lot when there was a lot more split pushing. He was great at catching people out, jumping on heroes like Tinker, and just finding those individual targets. But if the death ball comes in from TNC and it's the 5-man group up into these towers, Storm struggles a lot. Storm's not going to find these targets. He just needs to keep farming, and that's Rave's game plan, is weather the storm, make sure they don't lose their tier 3s, you drop your tier 2s and try and find trade-offs across the map.
I see what you did there.
What did I do? It was unintentional.
Weather the storm.
Weather the storm.
Well played,
Oh,
sir.
no, that was honestly unintentional. Oh, I feel good about myself now.
That's so modest, too. That's some British shit right there.
I'm so sorry.
You should be rubbing in how much better you are than everyone else. Like
I mean, I can't do that anymore because we're a bunch of idiots. we are all honestly morons.
I think British people have lost the right to talk shit about anyone for a while. But mid
Derp.
lane, Derp again getting caught out here. Being punished. Death by the crit.
There was actually an article written in the New Yorker, I think, that satirizes that, where English people can no longer claim that we are better than Americans or we're smarter than Americans until you vote in Trump, and then we can claim that back and say, yep, we're not as stupid as you.
Never forget.
Never forget.
Yeah, I'm sure Trump will do worse things to the global economy, to be honest.
I mean,
but better things for America.
He doesn't like China
and that's
too
what
much.
matters.
He doesn't like China too much, does he?
He likes America. He loves America. He is America.
America personified.
America. Alright, so TNC going to push in here. We're seeing a Bloodstone under construction, a Cuckoo, Raven. Still yet to be determined what he goes for next. AU will be picking up a Midas relatively soon.
Oh, that's a good time.
And the Necro 3 on the way. So TNC progressing reasonably well, but this is not the level of advantage I expected after the way the lanes began. That one fight where they traded 3 for 3 actually was quite bad for them. Is mid lane. Engagement breakout.
Yeah, that change is good on Demon. No disrupt to Storm or anything like that. JO will pull himself away, but he doesn't get up on the high ground. No roar comes out from Sam H. Didn't have the time.
Yeah, the roar has a big windup, and actually Demon gonna buy back immediately. There were no major cooldowns used. I think he was expecting to be able to catch one fleeing hero with the glimpse, but not the case. They're still gonna try to force it though.
It's not that much expenditure, like 400 gold for the disruptor isn't too bad. He's got his Spankles in this one. He was fine with that. And if they'd found a kill on the Storm or the Ember, it would have been absolutely massive for them as well.
Storm does have completed Orchid now, so I mentioned really good against Phoenix, also quite good against the Timbersaw, as he has rushed the Bloodstone.
Can they go hunting though?
And here's the smoke.
Into smoke.
But they have been dire scanned. Which direction are they gonna come from?
Oh man, they're going the long loop around. They're waiting for the retreat here back down to the low ground towards bottom rune, but TNC are just standing, holding this position.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, that wave doesn't connect onto anyone either.
Oh, and Derp up the hill, but they get the insta-hex off from Ryo.
The Storm jumps in though. He's trying to catch him. The glance at the Demon as well, but the roar onto JO. There's the shackle, but the swap back. QQ is trying to get the damage down. He will onto 3 with a final supernova landing in the back end of the fight. This is looking good for TNC. Their ultimates are connecting. The damage is still flowing through from Rave, and Ember will retreat. It's still Timbersaw with a double kill though, and Ninja Boogie, that TP is not going to happen.
And they're going to get Ryo as well, running him down with the Phoenix. 4 heroes dropping. That was not the right way to initiate. Storm going on the Disruptor. Not the hero you want to start the fight on. Phoenix is really the primary kill, and also jumping directly into 4 heroes where the bench had to bail him out immediately. Blow the swap. Then you have no silence to prevent the egg from going out. And then on top of that, he didn't even kill the Disruptor, who also proceeded to get the ult off. So pretty awkward initiation from TNC, but I think it just shows, or from Rave rather, but I think it just shows you how good TNC's 5-man is.
And that's how good raindrops are, right, against the Storm, who relies, on magic damage to get that initial burst, and right-click people down during the Orchid to kill them off.
Oh, Derp.
Oh, man.
He wants to try and snag an Aegis, perhaps, but not going to happen. It goes the way of the Timbersaw. Still, though, they lose the Phoenix, so they get a kill out of this. Overall win for TNC.
And that entire fight was without Necro 2s. Sam H didn't actually use them in the fight. He's now got Necro 3s ready if they want to go and engage again.
Yeah, Necro 3, very good against any int carry, so Storm is going to have to be super careful. Even Darkseer can really struggle against this.
Well, Roar into Necro 3 solo kills the majority of the heroes here of Rave. I think Ember's the only one, if he has Flame Guard up, who's going to be able to survive through it.
Yeah, but he might get run down if he doesn't have
a Remnant up.
Or stick charges to be able to use it, for that matter.
True.
Curious to see where we go from here for TNC. They've taken the Roshan. They could try to transition into more of like a late game approach, get a Battle Fury on Raven. They could go for something like a Mancer Diffusal, try to fight more aggressively. They already have a couple of options, and Timbersaw with the 15 Bloodstone charges is in a good position right now to be able to carry, so I tend to think TNC will shore up their late game here as far as the items go, but
you've missed out the most important. It's Demon with a Bracer. That's going to allow him to survive through JO's Orchid. Like, not even kidding. Demon with that Bracer does give him so much power. And now they've caught JO. The silence comes back out.
Yeah.
And TP ball.
Caught JO.
Caught JO, yeah. For a little bit. Just a little bit of a pat on the back.
Yeah, Timbersaw is just too tanky. Not to mention it's the Aegis. I think Rave killing the Timber later on pretty much requires a Finger of Death. Or any... I mean, I would say, yeah, really farmed Ember, but Ninja Boogie just now getting the Battle Fury.
That's the Diff Blade we wanted. This Juggernaut is incredibly scary right
This
now.
says a lot about their mentality. TNC want to keep on applying pressure. They're not interested in just trading farm or going passively into the late game.
Now Blink on Cuckoo as well. Get that Timbersaw into battle as fast as they can. Damage can enable him to jump onto that solo target and bring him down, but we saw how much AoE damage that Timbersaw can do in that previous fight if he's around those trees as well. Rave really, at this point in the game, losing a tier 3, losing racks, it's going to be annoying. They do have ways of dealing with this. It's just an inevitability, honestly, with the Necro 3s and Inner Beast coming up onto your high ground. I don't know if you have to defend this. Like Griffing, like if you lose a team fight here at your tier 3s, you're going to lose racks and maybe...
You can't just forfeit racks, though, in 20 minutes. They're going to have to try. Here we go.
That's good. YouTube loses Aegis, but the rollback of the JO with a Storm on top of him as well. He does have
Couldn't even get the swap off there, unfortunately. Storm down, out for the count. Now TNC still pushing in, Timber chaining forward. Ryo has been scouted out here by the Disruptor, has a glimpse available. There's the buyback, Storm re-engaging. Can they get a kill out of this? They're going to try for it. They get the Timbersaw, who did not match the Bloodstone tonight, but he does instantly respawn, and he TPs down to the tier 2 bottom.
He's onto Durf as well.
They're forcing this.
They purge him up, and Vengeful Spirit chased into the base behind tier 4's Rave in a ton of trouble as they now try to push them back out of this one. The Orchid of Raven with its steering chains, but he takes them off straight away.
They can go back in. If Ninja Boogie runs out of remnants here, he'll be in a lot of trouble. Raven's charging forward. Timber's about to rejoin the fray, but they have managed to bring the Juggernaut in a bit too deep. He will end up going down. Cuckoo blinking forward.
Jayo's still alive, and now he's 1 versus 4.
Oh no, Cuckoo!
Did he deny himself here?
No, Sunray comes in. Yeah, he has the Bloodstone tonight. That's 2 deaths in a row. Timber from 15 to 6 Bloodstone charges. And they do not get the racks. And they lose the Aegis. It was a double buyback, but even with the double buyback, it's a win for Rave. Like straight up, that's just a clear win.
They defend their high ground, they defend their racks, and that was everything thrown in by TNC. That was their high ground push that was meant to consolidate their lead and almost put the game in the ground.
Yeah, you lose 9 Bloodstone charges in Aegis, and 1 core twice, another core once. You're not happy with that. I think they should have just taken it a little more carefully, a little bit more cautiously. Didn't need to dive the tier 4s for kills. Should have waited for the Timber, perhaps, and then gone for another round of push. But unfortunately, he did not have Boots of Travel to. If he's able to instantly rejoin that push, I think it's a totally different fight. But he opted to go for the blink, then working towards the Yule Scepter.
Especially diving tier 4s for revenge kill, right? The Juggernaut went in deep just to finish off Derp.
Yeah, and did so against a very good chasing lineup from Rave. Still good high ground defense by Rave, and that's the scary thing. You're playing against an Ember, a Storm Spirit. These are heroes that will chase you down if you overextend, so you gotta mind that. But
he's given Blink over to the line now as well. Ryo with that initiation tool. He's super good up against this Juggernaut and Timbersaw. If they can go around as that ganking pairing with the Storm and the Lion, they do have the damage to pick off a couple of these supports, and even the Juggernaut through that Vanguard.
yeah, and Ember is the only hero who's gone into a big farming item in the form of the Battle Fear. I guess you count the Bloodstone for that as well, but now we'll be able to pull ahead of the Jug as the game progresses. He's picked up an Ultimate Orb. We're likely going to see Lincoln's. At that point, it's very difficult to stop the split push. You can't just glimpse him into a Static Storm. You can't rely on a Blink Roar. It will basically require multiple heroes to kill him. That will free him up to be more aggressive.
Very defensive posturing here from Rave, though, realizing that everyone's off the map from TNC. No one's actually flashed and shown any of these lanes. Expecting the smoke, they've got Dirt behind the Ember Spirit just in case they need that defensive swap, always in position to save him out.
They do have a ward here, though, up on the high ground.
They've got
two, actually. Oh, that's a deep ward behind the racks. They can dive.
Oh, man. The pings are coming out.
Here, fishy.
Sentries down, they see the ward, but it's only one of them, and they've got vision perfectly on them.
They want that glimpse to start the fight off. Who's Demon going to go on? Nobody! He gets stunned, then the back!
Into the wall as well, down on the floor. Storm jumps back and forth. The Supernova is getting right-click down, and it'll get taken out. Big team fight ultimate gone. 2 heroes lost from TNC. The aggressive play, they're getting chased out of the base with the chains onto Raven. Purges them off as Leon chases back. There's the Necro 3 with the roar and the jump forward. Chakram, Timber chain as well. Inside back, but it's the Vengeful alone. It's only the support as JO stands his ground. They've got the damage, but can they withhold the DPS from TNC? The Timber Sword says not today and actually pushes them into the base once more.
Oh, Ryo able to stun one as well as the book and
Oh,
blinks
blinks
away,
away!
dodges the X's. Get to the chopper.
Is he out here?
I think he's out.
Timbersaw, Chakram, not going to clip him.
Wow, what a sick play by Ryo. And they might even get the Timbersaw. Cuckoo, after such a good start, he's just crumbling here down the stretch.
You can chain up to high ground.
Ryo
JO's
has
got no mana.
a Blink Hex, but they are lacking the mana on JO. Yeah, so that one to me is really on Demon, as they had the ward here, so they already had vision for a glimpse up until about this area. And he doesn't need to be in front. Like, if the team wants to dive to give him vision for a glimpse, that's fine, but he was the man in front of everybody, and so they instantly lose the Disruptor. He doesn't glimpse to start the fight. He doesn't Static Storm. He gets none of his spells off. Disruptor should be in the back for this team, and then on top of that, AU, after that, proceeds to swoop in directly in the middle of 5 heroes. They instantly kill the egg, so I think TNC should have just cut their losses as well after Demon died, rather than continuing to engage and force the fight, but they, I guess, felt that they had no choice. So a bit sloppy by TNC, and to me that is an example of just, you know, the type of thing you'll see when you add a new player, maybe a slight language barrier as well. Something where he's not entirely on the same page as the rest of the team.
Still managing to keep up in farm though. That's the interesting thing for me. Even though they're losing heroes and losing these fights out, they're still keeping that advantage going over Rave. Items are still progressing pretty nicely as well. Timber now with the Yule Scepter, even though he's lost a ton of Bloodstone charges, he will have that saving mechanism up against the Orchid from the Storm. As well as a Lotus Orb from AU coming out.
JO is definitely struggling, sitting at 8k net worth. Even Beastmaster's ahead of him. And Phoenix is closing in. So it does put a lot of eggs in the Ember Spirit basket. But, well, I think Lincoln's just incredibly good this game, so wouldn't count Rave out by any chance, especially if they're getting pushed and he can sit back on the high ground. Also going to see a Lotus Orb coming soon for AU. So he closes in on that. I believe already brought the Ring of Health. Yeah, he has on the Courier, so he's very close. This is a big item to have against Lion.
Yeah, against Lion, Storm, Venge even.
Yeah, a lot of good things you can cleanse off there with the Lotus, or potentially just counterplay.
Big stuff. Now, Manta Star was done by the Juggernaut and still holding up the Vanguard. Abyssal Blade going to be pretty important against the mobile carries of Rave. Both Storm and Ember Spirit heavily reliant on jumping in and out of team fights and keeping that mobility up. Knocking them down for extended periods of time and having that in addition to the Roar. Because they are lacking direct disables. They don't have anything outside of like Roar, as well as maybe the Abyssal, the Glimpses, you know, a hard disable, anti-killed. Really offer you the same thing either. Being able to lock down a target and kill them, definitely going to need that one.
So JO is going to head back towards a very late Bloodstone, actually, it looks like. Getting the point booster at 28 minutes. Man. Storm, to me, needs to be like an item ahead of a lot of carries in this patch. But
I do wonder what the reasoning is why he didn't go for Treads.
I guess he wants Boots of Travel eventually, but I feel like the Treads can easily pay for themselves. Especially against Phoenix.
Just in lane, tread swapping is incredibly efficient. Yeah, I guess he did rush into the Orchid, and then after Orchid, going back into treads is a little bit suboptimal if you want to be aiming towards the bigger items and progressing like linearly with the Ember Spirit. But he hasn't had that same farming time.
Things slowing down here. It's around 29 minutes, about a 6,000 gold advantage for TNC. Experience actually going Rave's way. I think most importantly, just the fact that TNC has not taken a lane of Raxit after the start they had is testament to Rave's resilience. So the next, perhaps, big battle, I think, will be over this Roshan as we see a Raiding Courier scouting it out. If TNC can get another Aegis, quite likely they will go high ground, and even if they lose a lot of heroes, they should be able to take a melee Rax with the Necro 3. They're going to smoke, and they are going to move out.
A lot of it's come down to Rappy on this Darkseer. Now he's got the Blink and Mech. These vacuum walls, we've already seen 4-5-man vac walls turning the fights around and causing a bit of chaos here in the ranks of TNC. If he can be in position for this, which he's not right now, in fact, the 3 heroes of Rave relatively far forward up on this mid lane.
Demon's out in front again, but he's going to find someone alone.
Well, nice swap by Venge though, gets him back down to the low ground. The Glimpse though will secure the kill.
Likely lose the Venge, although Timber actually changed down to the low ground. Demon tries to salvage it and does manage to find the Thunderdome. ankle, cages the Venge, brings her down. But top lane is pushing in. TNC.
They've got no waves near the base.
I think they want to Roche, but that top lane is pushing. Oh, they have the ward that they planted earlier. They can go on the Ember, but he's got a Lincoln Sphere. And it's going to be tough to break this thing and get the roar off.
They popped it with something, and Static Storm dropped late by Demon, wanted to catch the Storm Spirit. What did they pop the Lincolns with? The Glimpse? Looks like it was Glimpse.
A gift from the temple.
Can you... No, he said. It must have been the Glimpse.
You can pop it with Diffusal Blade, but Juggernaut wasn't near enough by. I think they
That's
like
pretty much... Oh, they have the Yules on Timber, but I don't think he was in range either.
I think they glimpsed from range and then were thinking about Blink Roaring, but...
That's actually kind of a cool way to do it, because the Glimpse has such long range.
It's kind of like the charge effects from Spirit Breaker, where you used to pop Linkers with charge.
Yeah.
Obviously
It's a unusual but pretty cool synergy we have there. Still, now it's Rave's turn to smoke. On the prowl with Ryo out in front.
Look at that awareness though. All the way back towards the tier 2s and hiding back. Was Rio smoked? The boar? He hit the boar, I think, and it started attacking
I think
him.
he just accidentally hit the boar. Pretty sure he was smoked.
And what's the bet TNC smoke straight after this?
Can they?
Do they have any left?
None to be purchased for 6 minutes, and
They don't have any on them.
none
Or
on the courier. I'll have to do it the good old-fashioned way. Run of them. Kill everyone. Then take the rush.
Rave just continue their plan though, you know, keep on holding this game out, make sure they don't lose their racks, split push the lanes and force TNC to address what the Storm and the Ember Spirit are doing. If they will continually farm, Ember is, you know, starting to create a larger gap between himself and the Juggernaut. Oh, Beastmaster, 2200 gold up on him. Could aim towards the Vlads or the Force Staff, you know, give them the extra pushing power of that team strength from the Vlads or the Force Staff for the mobility. The way to pop the Lincolns as well if he wants to go alone onto the Ember Spirit.
I mean, I think TNC can just walk into the Roche pit and try and take it. A little risky potential for that vacuum, big lion stun. You have Sleight of Fist, but they kill the Roche fast.
Oh, Demon, he's caught. There comes the Sleight of Fist, but he's still alive with the Ghost Scepter and that Lotus Orb onto him. Derpy is soloed down by the Omni Slash.
And the healing ward plus Sunray combo, just healing Demon right back up. Yeah, that is the power of the TNC 5-man. Still, they're going to look to go here. Flank, back, wall as well. The Sleight of Fist coming over the top, and Rappy is going to sacrifice himself together with the Storm. He jumps in, but it's into the silence, into the roar. Jo, oh no, not like that. Down for the count.
If Demon's still alive, Lotus Orb keeps going through. The Sunray finally Sleight of Fist will finish him off. They jump forward onto Ninja Boogie. Chains are out as well. He's got a Remnant to get himself away from here, but doesn't feel too threatened to use it just yet.
So unfortunate.
If he had a blink, I think Ninja Boogie considers stealing this.
He might try anyway. He does have the Remnant. Can Sleight of Fist and maybe just right-click the Aegis. But it is it's a relatively tight timing window. He's going to go for it, though. And he steals it. He steals the last hit, but Cuckoo gets the Aegis. And he actually popped it immediately. Wow. Big plays. Basically got nothing out of that. Didn't get the Roche kill.
No money, no experience, no Aegis.
Perfect.
Look at that fight recap. Gold change. 0, 0. The Timber Sword died.
That's a sick play by Ninja Boogie. Imagine if he had also snatched the Aegis. Did he drop his bottle? I'm not sure if he actually had any inventory space.
I'm not too sure. But now he's got a ton of cash and attempted Yules there, but of course Lincolns will just pop that one out. Bloodstone, are we done yet here for Jo? Well, let's do it. A couple of hundred off the rest of it.
So poor. Oh my god.
10,000 net worth. He's barely ahead. He's scratching ahead of the Phoenix at this point.
Phoenix is closing in though. I think the gap was bigger like 10 minutes ago. Tried to static storm the Ember, but Ninja Boogie makes it away to mid. It's a lot of pressure on Ninja Boogie. I don't see the Storm being an impact hero this game at this point. Unless he somehow unless the Ember basically kills 4 and Jo just cleans them up. He's not catching up in this game.
Or Jo's the hero that baits in all the roars and static storms, and it creates a bit of space for Ninja Boogie in the team fight.
They move on Ninja Boogie, but he Sleight of Fists and zippity-doo-dah. Makes it out. I think the best way you can get the Storm back in this game is just dodging fights. Just use the Ember to aggressively split push, and then Storm goes and farms wherever he feels is safe. But at this stage, he's not able to offer what the other carries do.
Rio's now holding onto a gem, and Rave have done very well keeping this kind of warding game up towards the mid lane. Sentries, observer wards, always looking out, because the line has always been from TNC, run down mid lane, then go northeast towards the bottom lane, towards these open and naked racks. Definitely trying to keep this TNC lineup on the tabs as much as they can, but this does mean they don't have any obs wards keeping the Ember safe. There's no one watching side lanes.
Yeah, just counting on pure reactions from Ninja Boogie, which so far has worked out pretty well, but they're going to have another crack at him. That glimpse into an instant blink roar could be scary. And Cuckoo kind of gives it up there.
Yeah, they wanted to blink Yules into glimpse, I think, at the same time, but it's such a hard combo to actually synchronize together. Even if you're a team that's been together for 5 or 6 years, it's very, very difficult. Never mind together for a month or two.
Yeah, the problem is the roar does have a big wind up, so unlikely you're going to be able to ambush him that way. But look at the way the game's developed. It has been a stagnant advantage for TNC. They have not accelerated their lead. They're not consistently out-farming Rave. Yeah, Storm is incredibly poor, but Ember is very rich to compensate for that. And I don't think Rave are happy with the way the game's going, but this is better than what you would expect after the way it began. Could go either way, Gareth.
Yeah, like, who do you favor scaling-wise? Like, the pick-off potential is there for TNC with the team fight abilities that they've got. Juggernaut scales decently. Timbersaw, this is pre-BKB on Storm. So as the game goes later and Storm thinks about his BKB and getting through Static Storm and the Timber pure damage, he becomes a lot stronger in these team fights.
I think I would favor Rave more if they had a really farmed Storm, but with how poor he is and TNC having 4 cores, I think I do have to favor them overall. Ayu, Lotus Orb complete, another 2,000 gold in the bank. Cuckoo up to 4K, so at some point I imagine he will get a Hex or another big tank item, an Aghanims potentially. And Jug completing the Abyssal, so I mean, to me TNC just have more room to grow because all of them are farming. And all of these heroes scale quite hard.
He's got Diff Blade 2 as well. That damage output increase is pretty insane for the Juggernaut.
A slow burner here down the stretch.
It's an important game for both teams. I mean, TNC, what did we say they were, 4-1?
TNC are 3-1, I believe.
And then Rave are middle of the table, so Rave need to win this game. It's definitely very important for them. While this is a push towards first place for TNC, in effect. Get up to... Yeah, they're 3-1 because Warriors Gaming were 4-1.
Yeah,
Fnatic with
that game currently underway versus Fnatic. Looks like it might not be going too hot, so... With a win here, TNC could catapult themselves into first place, potentially.
It's a big thing for them. They've always been this team that has been kind of the bridesmaid, never the bride, right? They've always got through to these qualifiers, shown very well in the region, but once they get to the grand finals, the semi-finals against Fnatic, against MVP in particular, they've always kind of faltered a little bit.
Yeah, and they haven't actually... Have they qualified for anything?
Nope.
I don't think so.
They started last year. They won the Corsair Gaming Arena against Fnatic in like March, and then they're winning these online tournaments constantly, getting like first and second place, doing very well. They won like MPGL Season 7, but they've never been to an international LAN.
Well, of all
TI6 is a big LAN, huh?
Of all the international LANs to potentially debut at.
The international.
Yeah, how fitting. So
It'd be huge for them.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get there. But it's still a lot of Dota to be played here.
But then, there's obviously the story of Rave as well. JO's up there, wants to go back to TI, the rest of them from...
They want to go. They're going to creep in. They're surging Ryo. He says, no, I don't want to. It's scary out there.
He doesn't know where Jimmy is.
He's going for it.
Cuckoo. Jump on from JO. Spec Storm is going to actually turn him out. Vacuum wall onto 2. There's Lotus Orb down there. Omni Slash come through. And Rappy being shredded. But Ninja Boogie roared. They've caught him. The Supernova's landing on the Tempest. Storm back into the battle. But down he goes. Ember. Remnants away as JO repositions himself looking for Cuckoo. But this Timbersaw is tanky. Turns back to find the damage output's there as well. TNC somehow get jumped on and disabled.
Ninja Boogie, though, looking for that big crit. Could set up for another kill, potentially, or maybe goes down. He's going to cost his teammate his life. Ryo has overextended, likely drops, does find the stun, but Timber coming in hot. He's so good. Linking to the north, Ryo.
Wait, where did he go? Sorry,
to
what?
the north.
I don't know where he went. TNC doesn't know where he went. You're the only one who saw it, LD.
He blinked into this little patch of trees right here, actually.
Sneaky little devil.
Yeah, that was sick
Radiant's
stuff.
middle tower is under attack.
Immediately off to the mid lane, Ninja Boogie frantically trying to push these lanes out.
Even though it's a one
He's going to go for AU top.
Is he going to find it? Yes, he will.
See ya.
838 damage.
Radiant's top tower.
Slices up the Firebirds. Yeah, this is feeling like it's going to have to be the Ember show.
That's the thing, right, though. It's a one fight for TNC. They look like they're cruising through it. But as long as Ember stays alive and he's playing that kind of tiptoe around, skirting the fight, getting damage done over time, if he can stay alive after a team fight as well to split push lanes, TNC can't push forward for an objective, which is why it's such a great idea for Rave to actually go and fight on the Radiant side of the map. So they know that racks aren't going to fall if they do lose, and if they win, then they can push forward aggressively.
Yeah, and it's just not an Ember that's dying this game, so he's always able to rat.
Addressing that Ember is something that TNC definitely have to focus on.
He is 6-1 and 4. I mean, really none of the core is dying too much. Only 2 deaths on the Timber, 1 death on the Jug, but only one of these is basically invulnerable split pusher, and that is the Ember.
A gift from the tempest themselves.
Shiver's Garden, 2,300 gold over on Cuckoo, as well as holding onto the gem he's been given as well. It does allow him to clear waves incredibly fast. It does give that annoying little debuff as well onto heroes that like to reposition from Rave once he gets jumping in. Does mean that his item progression is going to be a little bit wonky in terms of optimal slot placements, because you kind of want Aghanim's Octarine core. You look for those BKBs as well, kind of a necessity against the disables and stuns out from Rave.
I think like ultra late game, you probably get the Ags, Octarine, you consider just getting rid of the blink, and that becomes either a BKB or a Lincoln Sphere.
Yep.
Yeah, you sacrifice a bit of mobility, but it allows you to be a much bigger threat in the fights. Still, like you said though, he's going to be a bit slot limited, but it's a good problem to have, as they still have 4 cores. Can't really say the same about Rave.
What's Darkseer up to? He's got shivers of his own. Guardian Greaves he could finish off.
I mean, basically for Rave, it's just like that dream vacuum into Impale. Like, if you hit that with an Ember Sleight of Fist, you're going to completely crush the team fight. If you don't, it does tend to get dicey.
Raven can solo kill Ninja Boogie. Blink, Diffu, Abyssal, Omni Slash. If he shift Qs it, it's definitely possible. But then Ninja Boogie's not going to give him that chance. He's playing so paranoid.
I don't know if he kills him fast enough with the Abyssal. He might be able to run in and out.
I guess if he has an additional like Stack Storm or Timber, like
or if he gets a lucky bash proc while he's Omni Slashing.
or a couple of crits,
Then he definitely
something
kills
like
him.
that, yeah.
But there also can be a +1, like you mentioned.
That's the thing, with TNC they're always roaming around the 5. Very rarely are they out split farming, solely because there is a Storm Spirit and Ember Spirit in the game as Rave head into the Roche Pit.
Now, they're actually reasonably fast just because of the raw damage that Ninja Boogie has at this point, hitting for almost 400 a pop.
It's not even though Ember Spirit is forced into going Rapier or anything like that, it's not as drastic as this. He's pretty happy just to hold on to buyback, and oh goodness.
Double smoke. Who gets the jump?
The Hawk will be able to fly over and scout what's happened in the Roche Pit, see it's on relatively low HP. But then, do TNC assume that they ran back to base? Or do they think that they moved in? That scan comes out from the Radiant.
Ninja Boogie.
The pings are being
creeping
spammed.
in. Moving forward. There's the back.
Too, with a stun as well, and they're just obliterated.
Man, they just deleted them. Yeah, that's the vacuum pill. You hit that with Ember there, people are gonna die.
That's a freebie. Roshan given away, no contest now from TNC.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Have to TP the hell away and try and get onto these other lanes. That's now Aegis on Storm, the cheese is dropped. I forgot it was the third Roshan, so Rappy will take up the cheese for himself.
Yeah, purely just because there's no item slots on this Ember. But Ninja Boogie, you can always save for 5-act, you can have a stash Rapier. There's a lot of options for him as the game progresses.
I guess BOT2 then stash Rapier. So you never really want to get rid of that blink, just with the repositioning tool that allows you to jump waves. Farm with impunity. Raven is going to try and go for this again. Who's he got with him? Demons here. But look at that. Ember just remnants away. There's just no chance.
Back?
How did he know LD?
Great map sense by Ninja Boogie, that's how.
That's
Or he's cheating.
Or he's cheating, yeah.
I think clearly it's more likely he's cheating. Never mind the fact he's been playing competitive at the top level for like 6 years.
Especially since that's like the 3rd time he's done it as well.
Clearly map hack.
He knows exactly what's up. There's going to be a Hex for AU. He's got himself an Ultimate Orb, and finally another item for Storm Spirit. It's been a long and laborious game for him, but Lincoln Sphere is done now, so he's also in a position where Roar isn't going to be targeted down on him, but they've caught one up at top. Ninja Boogie static stormed up, and ooh, they got him.
The Jinx
The map hack didn't work this time.
is strong. I am so sorry, Mr. Michael Ross.
You screwed him, LD. You screwed him.
Hey man, I got a lot riding on TNC here.
Oh yeah? Did you bet the whole studio on them?
No, just Jimmy's friendship. He said if he loses, we're not friends anymore.
So no more Red Bull sponsorships.
Oh, he already lost that. They dropped him a while ago. He's Quest Nutrition now.
Oh, true.
All about those protein bars. Low carb. Keto friendly.
Do they taste good though?
I actually like them, but I have generally anyone who's not eating keto that I've talked to does not. So
Okay.
I think given that they're very low carb, they're good. But with the qualifier in mind. Jo jumping in mid lane. Ooh.
There's a Hex on Kuku as well. Oh, that's on
Not
the Korea.
delivered yet. Not delivered.
That's on the Korea, yeah, you're right.
They could force the Ember to buy back here, I think. Surprised they're not rotating bottom though. They're just going to siege the tier 3 mid.
The DD on the Juggernaut.
Vacuum Impale. Great combo. Ember not buying back though. He's just biding his time. Good stalling maneuver here.
Healing Ward plus Sunray though. That heal through onto them. Jo does a good job at taking down the little kitty. That's Vac Wall expended. They defend their tier 3, but Glyph gone. And like you said, interesting that TNC didn't want to reset the bottom lane, so they've got 2 waves pushing in, so they could maybe transfer from mid towards bottom. So now they're in kind of this weird limbo situation where they can either continue going mid with Ember alive and force that fight with all their ultimates up and ready, and kind of hope that without the vacuum wall that Rave don't have the synergy between them to take this team fight.
Man, he went for 47-minute boots or power treads.
Oh wow!
Yeah, JO's having a rough game. Here we go though. Fight about to break out.
Vision on vision. The stun comes through, the Blazer is already down. Static Storm, catches 2 of them. Jo caught in the field as well, and with this Juggernaut just swiping down, the Aegis is gone. Ninja Boogie in the backhand though, trying to hold his ground. Sammy refreshes up. He's got another Roar. Finding a target though is relatively difficult as the zip zap back. Jo, safety.
You're gonna force the Lion to buy back here. Not the biggest deal, but ends up being 3 down in the end, and gives TNC their full lead back, more or less. Albeit at this stage, it's not that much of a full lead.
Nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I think that the way the game's developing, it's going to be more about who gets the jump than anything else. Both teams have the firepower to kill the enemy carries. Both teams have the damage to take buildings.
Like
if you're able to burst the Ember and he doesn't have buyback, you're gonna win. If they get the vacuum like impale combo off for Rave on the flip side, they likely win the fight. So.
Like if Juggernaut didn't get spin off as that fight started, that vacuum into Earth Spike means the fight's over and TNC pretty much get wiped.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
him preemptively spinning and realizing, or not, getting himself into that situation meant that TNC could actually battle through and turn things around. Also, the second rule wasn't used by Sam 8. Unfortunate for them, they couldn't actually stick onto a secondary target for him.
Yeah, we'll have to wait a little while for the refresher to cool down. That's the Force Staff now.
Didn't opt for the Vlads.
I mean, what do you think? Who do you favor going late here? Who's gonna win?
I find it really hard to call. I've loved TNC for a long time. I'm with Scant. We're in that boat where we've watched them. They're kind of our baby. We've seen them progress from being this fresh fledgling new team and becoming.
First they couldn't even wipe their own bottoms.
No,
now they're potty trained and they're stretching their legs.
And they're really nice guys as well. You talk to them and when they started playing against Fnatic, it was so cute watching them when they were messaging them in the lobby saying, "Hi, idol." You know, they literally idolize these other Southeast Asian players. They idolize everyone else in the scene because they look up to them and they've, you know, analyzed and they've studied these other teams and players. And now they're at the same level as them. They've progressed so far that they've actually met their goals almost. It's just that one more step to meet their dreams and actually play against these teams at LAN. I gotta say TNC.
So you believe?
I believe. I believe
in Demon
LT.
Dota of all things. You think Jimmy's going to come through in the clutch?
Honestly, he has been the shining star of this team so far.
He actually has played very well.
He has.
As much as I like to give him a hard
He's
time.
like only played Disruptor for the entire group stage, but he's been very good on it.
I mean, Demon has a deep hero pool. We've seen him perform well on a wide variety of heroes in the past. So.
Off-lane Omni Knight.
Yeah. Keeper of the light.
Cutting
Master of the trees.
Yeah.
They're going around though. Smoke to the south. Will they find anyone?
Nice ward up there, and Radiant scanning a little bit too far to the east, but they seem to realize
Cuckoo though finds the Hexalrappy to get it started.
Nice.
Static Storm off the mark though. Not going to find much, and Derp will end up still going down, and over the top swoops the Phoenix, but got silenced, got hexed and controlled by Ryo for the time being. Still, they're working on other heroes. Rappy will end up dropping. That's the Darkseer out of the fight. The Venge as well. Despite the swap save attempt, they still lose the Conehead, and now they look for a bit more on the jail.
Pass into Abyssal! They've got him!
Just like that.
Supernova will not get finished off. So Ember Remnant's back.
They have a Force. Refresher already used, so he doesn't have an extra blink available, but it is cooling down. Don't think they get in range of the Lion. But they can potentially push. Hero's only down for 30 seconds, though. It doesn't look like it's going to be Rex.
Never refuse good.
Again, it's another fight that Rave take on the other side of the map. Again, they lose the fight, but it also means that TNC can't progress and take objectives. But it was such an awkward one. They didn't get that big vacuum wall they wanted, catching a couple. The Supernova was nicely placed close to the end of the fight, making sure that AU doesn't die. But it's Demon. Rave are focusing Demon, trying to make sure the Storm isn't coming through, making sure he doesn't Yules up, someone into the air, stopping these swaps coming through. But that Ghost Scepter is keeping him alive that little bit longer, so Ninja Boogie has to swap targets and look for someone else.
BOT2s. Oh, they blink. Look for the Hex. Can they get Cuckoo? Chains are there. He's caught out. No backup in sight. Ember getting to work. Heavy damage with the finger on top of that. And Cuckoo will go down. No Bloodstone deny. He drops.
Down to 14 charges.
Saw this from Navi. Trying to remember what event. Oh, I think it was the Middle Major where they went they were losing a game really badly and they just all got BOT level 2s and they just abused having a bounty hunter as like a vehicle to deploy the whole team anywhere on the map.
The 4-man teleport onto
yeah, like 4 heroes with just BOT level 2 on the bounty, and ultimately ended up coming back and winning. I think this is a game where the Boots of Travel level 2 will be really important. You don't have as good of a vehicle for them, but I think it's just it's just feeling like a game that's going to rely a lot more mobility as it goes late.
Well, a high ground offense here and breaching these racks and tier 3s has just become a lot more difficult for TNC because there's a Rapier on Ember Spirit in his stash. So once they actually get up into the high ground, Ninja Boogie will just swap out his blink, pull that Rapier and make sure they can't stick around for too long. So now it's become one of these games where, like against an Ember, against a Tinker, it's about catching that hero, forcing the buyback out, catching them again, and then going for that breach of the high ground.
The cool thing about the Rapier is you also can't really base race the guy if he's willing to risk going out with it. I think Jug and Beastmaster versus an Ember with the Rapier, they might have a slight edge, but it's not like a guaranteed, oh, we're just going to straight up win type of situation. So we'll see if it comes to that.
Rave are up to something up at top. Ember Spirit.
They want to go here.
Doesn't have his Rapier on him, but the blink forward of the stun down. Raven is caught and now brought back into the Static Storm. Got perfectly onto the Ninja Boogie. There's the link to spot back. Raven turns and the Omni Slash with the Hex onto them. They've caught the core. They've got the Ember Spirit and take him down. The zip back will allow JO to get a little bit further away. But there's a 3-for-0 trade out there. Rave. They thought they had the quick and easy over onto the Timbersaw, but the amount of hordes of heroes behind him, not expected.
All right, might be buyback Rapier time. They still have Refresher, Beastmaster Roar. Static Storm is up in 50. The only spell you won't likely have is the Omni. I think he's going to have to buy back here.
They've got back wall plus Rapier Slight. This is super scary for TNC to actually push up.
Oh, he trades out the MKB. Not going greedy with the blink.
The healing ward keeping the illusions alive even. Jo couldn't finish them off, so Rio comes in. Mana drain and Hex.
But it's exactly like you said when you're up against like this ultra farm split pushing, you know, mega carry, the Tinkers, the Embers of the world. It's all about killing him the second time. So they get the first kill. Now, if they can get him again, it's game. Unless it's a like already mega creeps type situation for Rave, they will not be able to fight and hold for 2 minutes without their Ember.
When's next Roche? Oh, he's up already. The big man has returned.
Rave are going to smoke, though. They're not afraid to fight, but they do leave the Rapier at home. A little surprising considering the lack of buyback.
Hex completed on Rappy does give them an additional lockdown onto the Juggernaut, but damage output is something they can lack if they don't have the VAC back into that Sleight of Fist.
Let's see. He's going to grab the Rapier now. Trades away the MKB. TNC with good positioning here. Hiding in the trees. The HYHY way.
Is it the right way, though?
Well, considering Rave were smoked, I would say so. At least in that case.
TNC scanned out by the Dire as well. Rave know what they're up to. They also know this means they're likely not in the Roche pit, with heroes so far forward away from it. There aren't really heroes that you want to be creating that barricade up on the front lines, scouting and stopping them from coming forward, but TNC can now dip back into the pit if they want to.
Oh, it looks like this first Southeast Asian heat is going the distance. We've got a Fnatic game, already 50-something minutes in. We're about to hit the hour mark. It's going to be a long day, too, for these teams, Gareth.
I mean,
a lot at stake.
That other game, Fnatic against WG, both teams pretty damn good from Southeast Asia in terms of late game decision making. A scary one. Well, TNC against Rave, both teams that have been known for their kind of early game aggression and closing games out, winning through draft and laning stage. A little bit difficult for them, but there's York Green for the Timbersaw.
I mean, I really felt TNC should have been able to get Rex in that first big push. I mean, at this point, we're looking back, what, like over 30 minutes, but they squandered the opportunity. Rave were able to punish them for diving tier 4s and overextending, and
Twice in a row.
Yeah, this is what happens when you're up against an Ember. If you make those mistakes and you don't have a hero like a Storm, who, you know, or someone really good at catching him in the late game when he has the Lincolns, then you're going to struggle a bit. Still, though, once again, TNC able to walk into the pit, they grab the Aegis. This time they keep the Aegis. And so I think we likely can expect to see them go for some sort of push in the next couple minutes.
Lincoln's Lotus on Phoenix plus 3,500 gold.
I mean, he's going to be 6-slotted at this rate.
That is a fat Phoenix. What has the Beastmaster decided on? Not anything just yet. Saving up a lot of money, and buybacks, of course, incredibly important here. As we see Ember, still 3.5 minutes left on his cooldown. Well, the Radiant have got 3 up on them. 2 of them have BOTs, right? Timber as well as Juggernaut. Yep, so they can buy back BOT into the fight if they do so desire.
Yeah, they start to build a bit more armor here, beginning to focus on 5-man items, grabbing the Vlads for Sam H. There we go. Up against an Ember, you are going to need all the armor you can get. But I think, looking where Rave's at, they're just going to wait for the Ember buyback. They don't really want to do anything aggressive until then.
No AC on the Juggernaut just yet, though. He's got 1 slot left once the Aegis goes, I guess. Yeah, could fill that one out.
Probably not a Butterfly, since there's already an MKB available for the Ember. So yeah, I think AC quite likely. But here comes the Siege. They know there's no Ember buyback for a couple of minutes. They're going to start this one off with a stun on Raven. Use the Aegis Bearer, and they get the Glimpse.
Let's get the healing wall as well. That's an aggressive jump from the Storm. Demon almost taken out. The vacuum wall's good as well from Rappy. Catches 4 of them now. The Shiva's Guard turns back. And Omni Flash into the back end. The Raven's gone deep in behind the barracks.
Self-purge off, and still they've lost both supports here in exchange for the Venge. They chase forward. Do they get Raven as well? He's got the Aegis available. No Omni Slash. They're just hanging back with the Beastmaster. Sam H has a double roar available. He hasn't used either one in this fight. He's going to begin on the Ember. If they can kill Ninja Boogie, it's all in on him. That will be the game. They lock him down, but they can't finish him off.
The Bloodstone suicide from Jail kept him alive.
He's dying for his sins, but it may cost them more. The Storm down. Rappy in danger as well. Being hacked and slashed at by Raven. Can they finish the job? The Storm zipping in deeper and deeper. Jail looking for Sam H. Not going to find him. That was still an expensive hold, but they do hold. By golly, they do it.
That was so tight. The silence onto the Beastmaster so he couldn't get the second roar, and then the 40% HP Storm suicide to ensure that Ember Spirit stays alive with that Bloodstone heal.
Yeah, for a second, I'm like, wait, did he pop a cheese or something?
Yeah, like how did he heal himself up?
Yeah, but it did heal him all the way, and they didn't take the Roche, so. I think the first time I ever saw that was when Envy played Tinker, and it was the Envy Died for Your Sins Bloodstone game, but that was like a 20-man stomp, and he just used it to help them 5-man onto a tower.
Does mean Ember holds onto his buyback as well as the Rapier sitting in the fountain currently, while TNC, only one roar available currently in 10 seconds time.
So now it's Storm with no buyback. I mean, being able to buy back on the Ember is way more important, so I think Rave are still in a better position, but could be a dieback on a core here.
They've got their vacuum wall still though, so Rave have the high ground defensive capabilities they need.
I like this gem just sitting outside the dire base. Nobody's bothered to pick it up. We hate gems. Like, oh,
Darkseer's like, come on guys, efficiency. Send the courier out.
Pretty green thing.
Let's pick this up.
Even the creeps are ignoring it. Somebody take the damn thing.
There we go. The Lion has it now. No diffuser blade charges left for the Juggernaut. I do wonder if he'll sell that diff blade for a bigger and better item. And you could even consider the Rapier himself if he really wants to go that direction. BKB is obviously one of the safer options to go for up against this vacuum, plus the Storm Spirit. Magical damage coming out of them.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's the Butterfly.
TNC's carries are pretty much done farming. Timber's maxed out. Jug more or less maxed out. Could buy a Moon Shards if he wants to be fully 7-slotted. And I'm not sure any more items on Phoenix are really going to matter. So it's transitioned into this all about execution and buybacks stage of the game.
And Ember has buyback again.
Oh yeah. Does he have a stash Rapier yet?
He's
got one.
He's only got the one. But he's got 8,500 gold in the bank, so
he could buy another.
He could buy another one.
I think he can buy another in a buyback relatively soon.
TNC even have the cheese on Demon to make sure he does stay alive in these fights.
And they march down mid, still looking for their first lane of racks. The first tier 3 taken in the 20-minute range. Yet to claim that first racks. Even a range will do. They'll take whatever they can get. So far, they find nothing.
Such an awkward position to be in. Your bottom lane is down in the bottom right corner of the map. Mid lane just being shoved out by the Ember Spirit, spamming
But
Sleight of Fist.
Demon doing Demon Dota things. He's gotten a deep ward down. This could set it up.
Takes down the melee rack. Ninja Boogie misses out on the Sleight of Fist. The Hex onto Cuckoo, not going to come to anything as Rappy is looking for it, but there's the zip in onto Demon. They've caught him with the Storm Spirit. The Lotus Orb is out. The Vacuum finally comes through, but Demon cheeses up and still alive for swap back. Sam H refreshes through, but no secondary roar, and Juggernaut has already killed off the DS.
Ember Spirit still buyback available, but they have lost the lane. It's only one lane. It's an hour in. You can afford this, but it's still a step in the right direction for TNC.
1 minute without your Darkseer, and I wonder if TNC kind of poke and prod and see if they can force a buyback or just try and check if he has one.
And Beastmaster did pop the refresher again, so he's got another roar available as Cuckoo goes in on the bottom lane. Very aggressive positioning. He will get pulled. He will get silenced. Stunned as well. Controlled
so tanky.
For days, for nights. He needs help, but he has buybacks. They're going to ignore him. Let him die if need be. Just focus on building.
Yeah, Raven's just hitting racks. He takes down one, and Jay on the Storm. The good swap from Derp takes him out of it. Still the Juggernaut with a godlike streak, and Ninja Boogie struggling to output damage without the vacuum. Second lane of racks down. TNC finally consolidating a lead they've had for how many minutes, David? 64 minutes. They've had some kind of lead. They've been leading the entire game, and for once,
they have never trailed this game for 65 minutes.
In terms of net worth, anyway.
And they did not get their first racks until about 63.
It's been a long and arduous road, but in the end, they finally get there. It does matter. It does matter.
Good things come to those who wait. Or so I've heard. Like Pitlord. I'm sure Pitlord's coming. I heard it from a very reliable source.
Well, people spotted it in the files recently, didn't they?
Yeah, I think at this point everyone knows.
So Belvedere was like, hey, Pitlord's coming. He's found it.
Is that how you imagine him laughing?
Yeah. That's how I imagine everyone laughing, though. That's my regular degenerate internet person laugh. That's how I laugh on the internet.
Like Beavis and Butthead style laugh.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Refresher on Phoenix. Double Sunray, double Supernova. Pretty disgusting things, and it's not the Juggernaut that goes for the AC, actually. Sam H's Beastmaster completes that one.
Honestly, Beastmaster is winning this game as far as just actually taking buildings goes.
2-2 and 17 to score as well. Sam H is an absolute cracker of a game.
What does that even mean? An absolute cracker of a game.
A scorcher. A spanker.
A spanker.
A wicked game.
Alright, well that makes sense. Wicked game makes sense. An absolute cracker of a game. Is a cracker supposed to be like a really epic thing in Britain?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it's a cracker!
Like, if someone, in football and soccer, you know, if you have a really powerful shot that, you know, cracks its way into the back of the net as a cracker.
Ah, okay. That makes more sense.
Or if in cricket,
I thought you meant like cracker, like the food cracker.
No. Or in cricket, you know. Oh no, wait, you wouldn't. Never mind.
Yeah, we don't play that bullshit.
You play baseball instead.
Oh yeah, baseball's a fantastic game. Here comes the fight though. Rappy with the vacuum to start it off. They lock down two. They're gonna get the finger out as well. Beastmaster dead for 80 seconds. No buyback. Cuckoo though engaging on the derp will bring him down to the bench falls. Ryo's on the run. The Phoenix Supernova connecting, and Rave and Omni slashes onto the back lines. He will kill off the Darkseer as well. This could be the end for Rave. They need to hold Ember. What can he do? He's got double Rapier for maximum damage output. Ninja Boogie slayed a fisty through, but he's only tickles, and Cuckoo able to get off the Hex. Can they burn him down?
They can't even kill the Phoenix on the back end. Jo went
bash,
into the
bash.
He jumps back, jumps forward. Nope, he's taken out.
Dead.
The Rapier's on the floor.
Unfortunately, his Rapiers didn't make it back to the well.
Into the courier? Nope.
No, can't do that. Unfortunately. So who got them? There's one.
Ninja Boogie has one.
Where's the other?
Juggernaut didn't, right? He was just like standing around waiting for them.
Oh,
Phoenix.
AU has it.
Phoenix has the other one.
Oh yeah, the Phoenix Dream. And now they jump back onto Cuckoo. They really have to get some consolidation kills after giving up a Rapier. Cuckoo chaining away. Does get silenced. Does get locked down. And forced to Bloodstone deny. But he'll be back soon.
Meanwhile, tier 4s.
Yeah, this is...
The catapults. There are four.
Not looking good. Yeah, you have an Ember with a Rapier. You can kill these creeps, but they lose a Rapier. Ember has to buy back. One more bad fight. That's all she wrote.
5 catapults were in that base in a line here. Just trebuchets forcing their way onto the tier 4s and the Ancient. And I wonder now, even with the Glyph, the TNC necessarily need to take that top laner axe, or can they force the bot and mid lanes and go for the throne in the end? Trying to force the fight around there. 13,600 gold on the Timbersaw. There was a period of this game where Ember Spirit was racing ahead. He was like 10k ahead of the Juggernaut, 15k ahead of the Ember, of the Timber. But now,
oh, he's gone bootsless.
Timber with a full Heart of Trask. Oh, what is it? Oh, the Yule Scepter.
God, his effective HP.
4.3k HP with... how much armor do you get from Reactor Armor? Like 40?
1.6 times 20, right? So, what is that, like 32 or something?
I'm going to stick with like 40, I think. This is mathematically accurate.
32.
This is mathematically accurate.
Plus 32. He's going to be sitting
41.
Around like 60 armor?
Oh, plus the Shiver's Guard and everything else. Yeah, you're right. That's
maybe 50 armor, something like that.
A decent amount. Not too shabby.
And then you got to consider just his raw HP as well, which is 4,300. So his effective HP is probably closing in on 10,000 versus physical damage when he's got max stacks up. Pretty gross.
10,000.
That's my very lazy napkin math. No promises of complete accuracy. Here we go. Cuckoo.
Missed the chain though.
Diving.
Oh, a little fishy with the helm on it as well as Rappy is looking for this. The Hex onto Raven, but it's the jump into Jo.
It's all stalling maneuver though. Jug is the one killing off buildings here. They have to finish him quickly. Raven's able to Blade Fury and back away as Rappy chases the Phoenix Supernova, just going off in the middle of the back lines, and Timber zoning them to the well. Still though, this Juggernaut needs a little bit of help. Raven's sitting extremely far back. He doesn't want to risk going down, but they're going to lose the Phoenix as a result. Now the Timbersaw is left to his own devices. He's going to sneak around, push in that mid lane instead. He blinks away. He's going to let the creeps do his bidding, but they've lost 3. They have not taken the racks.
Not invulnerable, that Timbersaw. Those crits coming out of the Ember Spirit definitely showing that armor keep your life for so long. But
that's a casual 8,000 gold swing after a 50,000 gold advantage. They have not won yet. This game is not over by any means.
That was a scrappy fight as well. You know, there's no big vacuum wall. It was very nicely done back and forth by Rave. Timbersaw, though, you know, forcing back support instead of going for the big key targets. And oh, okay. And now buying a Maelstrom.
Why not? Just throw that Mjolnir on your courier. Have it follow you around. Give yourself or the Jug the buff.
Just static charge yourself and run in. Sam H and Raven.
I mean, he's got gold to spare. Still 6k after that.
That's true. And he can sell his Yule Scepter as well. Ninja Boogie on bottom lane. He's being eyed up here by Raven and Sam H. He's being a little bit skittish though. There's another rapier for him. That Hawk has
Ninja
perfect
Boogie
vision over on him.
creeping out. No buyback for 3 minutes.
How do they do this though? Blink force into Abyssal?
Sure. Sounds good. Oh.
Oh, he doesn't have Force Staff anymore on the Beast.
Meanwhile, mid lane, Timbersaw just YOLOing into the middle of the enemy team. They're going to try to lock him down here. That finger comes through. Cuckoo said he's got buyback, but he's out for 100 as he was not holding the Bloodstone. Oh, he's going to have to buy back. Cuckoo. Not sure that was the play.
Definitely not. Now, that ability for Ember Spirit to go from almost dying on bottom lane, almost getting caught out.
That's another 3,500 gold swing. They have just thrown away 15,000 gold in, what is that, like 4 or 5 minutes? This game's not over. Do you still believe in TNC, Gareth?
I still do.
Has your loyalty been shaken?
No, I shall not waver. Even though Storm does have a Bloodthorn and a Rapier now. He's become a scary hero. It still comes down to actually landing your spells for Rave, though. If you can continue getting these vacuum into Earth Spikes and locking down the correct heroes, catching Juggernaut with these hexes has been huge for them.
They scanned, I think? Yeah, Dire Scan did catch a couple Radiant heroes at the very tail end of that. They're going to creep away.
Very, very slowly.
Very.
Very slowly. Pixel by pixel, in fact.
And then they decide to move.
All at once.
Yeah, good time to have a lag spike. Well, absolutely nothing
was happening.
Oh, by the way, Storm got a Rapier in the middle of all that. I think the Phoenix lost the Rapier he was carrying. Yeah, so that's why the net worth swing is as big as it is.
There's a bunch floating around now, right? Ember Spirit
still
has
2 only, I believe.
Oh, did Ember not have another one?
Oh, he's got a Courier Rapier. You're right. So he's got a Stash Rapier. TNC creep in the bottom lane. They send the Jug out in front. He's gonna quickly cave in that lane.
It's much nicer to fight like this for TNC in like extended areas where they've got a box like
Lane
this.
Forward, Raven's engaging. He almost instantly decimates this backline Lion. Tries to run. The egg gets committed. They're gonna bring the Lion down. What do they focus on next? Static Storm dropped on top of Jo. He's gonna stand his ground, looks to fight, and no, not now.
I think the egg is gonna die, but the flying axes are just spinning in the face of Jo at this point.
Lion's bought back, and everything just goes to shit.
Particle effects!
And when the dust settles, they've lost the Jug here. Sam Agent's going to get controlled, and he'll go down as well. Jug forced to buy back.
Cuckoo, he's got
TP's in bottom. They're going all in. Is this the return of the classic Jimmy? The Timbersaw dying back. The Juggernaut buying back. The Beastmaster not opting to use his.
And then top lane. Quadruple catapults and a TP back.
Jimmy's looking to make plays, but top lane is getting pushed in. It's a free lane of Rax for Rave. Just like that, TNC are forced back. It's anybody's game. This was once a 50,000 gold lead, nearly. It is now a paltry 25.
There's lack of bloodstone on the Timbersaw is definitely
Also,
showing,
Jimmy
right?
has no TP.
Oh, are you kidding?
Demon is on a new quest. This quest is for a way home.
How does he do this?
He's got the ward. As soon as he sees heroes, he can go and TP, but he dies real fast.
Is anyone going to come back and... No, they'll let him go. They'll just...
They are satisfied with this previous offering.
Merciful gods, Rave, allowing Demon to return back to his own fountain. And now it's Rave knocking on the doors of the TNC base again, looking for their second lane of racks.
There's no Timber for 50, and Jug has bought back.
Is under attack.
If Raven dies here, it's game. And they siege fast with Jo having the Rapier. He's the man in front. Buyback status, only the Ember and the Phoenix. So Rave with a big power play right now. They're going to take down a second lane of racks. They move on to bottom. Ember's there, and they're jumping deep. They want to focus Demon. They're going to kill him off quickly. A 2 heroes done. They've got an AU as well. Raven hacking away with the BKB, but as soon as this thing ends, they can kill him. He's got an Omni/2, and again, a bit of lag in the middle of it.
Through it.
Raven's already omnied. Raven, can they focus him? They roar Ninja Boogie. They're going to bring him down as well, but they jump in and out. I don't think they can do it with the
And the
Juggernaut.
buys back at TP's in the BOT's on to Jo.
Is it his turn to die back? Who's it going to be?
Jo, aggressive jump forward damage. Doesn't have the refresher, but the second supernova comes down. Great placement onto the top of the Rave, and it looks like he's going to be able to stun down at the Rio as well. The Ulceptor through, keeps him alive for a little bit longer, and jumps
Raven
away with a
wants
blink.
Ninja Boogie. He's diving for it. BOT level 2 could be the savior, but a perfectly timed stun. Immaculate play by Ryo to save the day. Ninja Boogie, though, out of remnants. He's going to drop a Rapier. More importantly, he likely dies back here. He will die back. The counter throws as Rave overextend. Throwaway lives, but it's not done just yet. Ryo's hitting buildings. I'll get the Rex. He says, I've got the Rapier. Unfortunately, it's a deactivated Rapier. He can't even pick up the other one. He's desperately working on that damn melee Rex, but he just can't do it. He's got a BOT out. He does salvage one Rapier. He drops it off.
I can't believe the plays this line's making. Like going back to hit buildings like that with a deactivated Rapier.
I think the other Rapier was the one that's already been given to the other side. So that one he could have used. Then he could have killed at least one Rex, possibly both. But Ryo, just unfortunate. No real way to know which Rapier is which in that kind of fight. By the way, nobody has buyback.
In the entire game.
Yes.
Are they all on cooldown? No, there's a couple of people just without money.
This is a huge advantage now for TNC. That's no Ember.
Oh, the glimpse. The Lion's not going to escape from this one, even if you've massively outplayed for 77 minutes. Jumping around, hopping and skipping. Derp in a similar situation. Does get the blink away, actually, but the TP's forward. Cuckoo should be able to close the gap, but instead they say screw it, avenge.
Hit buildings.
Not worth it. Go
Take
for the
objectives,
throw.
TNC.
The glyph is available. The Storm aggressive jump forward. Just getting that damage down. Doesn't TP back, though. Jo calls GG and says it's all over.
78 minutes in. Well, for Rave, they may have played with the late game throws, but Demon, he was molded by them. He was shaped by them. He was born and lived in them. He is the master of the counter throw, and he has successfully shaken that monkey off his back. The team will take the game. No, in all seriousness, Demon played pretty great down the stretch here, but I think just one of those crazy late games where whoever has buyback ends up coming out on top. But Rave could have played it slower. They could have just avoided buying back on the Ember there. I really don't think they had to, at least not that quickly, but sometimes you just want to go all in.
It was a pretty intense game, though.
Woo!
And it's warm in here.
Yeah, this is a warm room. It just got a little bit hotter after that game, and TNC now find themselves 4-1. I'm not sure if Warriors Gaming won. Let's see.
I'm not sure how that's how the game panned out, but it's getting close in the C qualifiers.
Oh, they're 4-2, so Fnatic won.
Look
This
at that.
puts TNC 4-1. They're a half game ahead of Fnatic and WG as they've got one less loss here. So if they win out, they win the group.
Oh, that's the first best of one done. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. The second best of one. I think LDM swapping you out for Gods. Gonna bring in
Hi,
lovely Parker.
Mr. Parker.
Mr. Parker. So see you guys in a little bit. We'll take a short break.